and the deep state shenanigans continue to come into light. This time former DOJ Inspector General Charles McCullough III has revealed that he was threatened in 2016 after exposing the fact that crooked Hillary Clinton did, in fact, have classified documents on her unsecured home bathroom server when she was Secretary of State. In an interview with Fox News, he went on to explain he believes beyond any shadow of a doubt that even though President Barack Obama said there is classified and then there is classified, that Hillary Clinton's emails did endanger national security. But the deep state didn't care, so they shut him up, pushed him out, and even threatened him by saying he would be the first one fired once President Clinton took office. All this for the sin of just being honest and doing the job he was hired to do. It's very obvious by this point that the FBI and the Department of Justice are, in fact, an extension of the Democrat Party and the deep state, and they need to be disbanded and replaced by organizations who answer to we the people, not as the Clintons and Obamas. Sure, there are good people in there, such as Mr. McCullough. But overall the leadership is rotten to its core, and it needs to be changed and made into an organization which can't be corrupted in this manner ever again. If not, we will have the same issue to the next time the American people fall in love with a nobody whose entire life is a sealed record because of the skin color. But for now we need to get to the bottom of this quickly, and those who broke the law need to pay for the crimes. No matter if it was a third-level employee or the President of the United States. The law is supposed to be blind, and it's about damn time it proves it to us peons. That's not just a talking point pushed by the elite to keep us in line. Don't you agree? Via CBS new texts between FBI agents offer insight into FBI Clinton email probe. New records released related to then FBI agents Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and the Clinton email investigation show the process that led up to the decision to change then FBI Director James Comey's description of Hillary Clinton's actions from grossly negligent to extremely careless. Strzok, who was a part of the FBI investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server, was one of the few looped into the drafting of Comey's July announcement about the investigation, according to records the Senate Homeland and Governmental Affairs Committee released Wednesday. So was FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, whom President Trump has criticized severely. Many Republicans have seized the anti-Trump texts between Strzok and Page as evidence that the FBI and Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation are biased. The day in July 2016 that Comey defended to Congress the Bureau's decision in the Clinton email probe, Strzok and Page traded admiring texts about his verbal dexterity, and mocking jibes at the lawmakers questioning him. Congress, wrote FBI lawyer Page in one text, is so utterly worthless. Less than worthless, replied Strzok, a seasoned FBI counterintelligence agent assigned to the Clinton investigation. Utterly contemptible. The official's assessment of Comey, facing hours of questions about his decision not to seek charges against Clinton for her use of a private email server, was unmistakably flattering. God, he is so good, Strzok said. I know, Page responded. Brilliant public speaker, and brilliant distillation of fact. FBI agent Peter Strzok's texts with Lisa Page disparaged Trump throughout campaign. That exchange is included among 384 pages of text messages between Page and Strzok provided by the Justice Department to Congress and reviewed by the Associated Press. The texts, part of an Inspector General investigation into the handling of the Clinton email probe, are most notable for derogatory messages about President Donald Trump, the discovery of which led to Strzok's reassignment from Special Counsel Robert Mueller's team. But they also include unguarded discussion about a variety of current events and public figures, including Edward Snowden, Julian Assange and an encryption court fight with Apple, plus candid assessments of their colleagues and their FBI careers and futures. Among the thousands of texts, the dialogue about Comey is especially striking because it further calls into question White House characterizations of an FBI in tatters, where countless agents complained about the director before his removal. Employee surveys released last year show FBI employees consistently gave Comey high marks. And emails published this week by the Lawfare blog show FBI field office leaders using words like profound sadness and hard to understand in spreading the news about Comey's May 9th termination, one of the events now under investigation by Mueller for possible obstruction of justice. The texts proved an explosive development when revealed in December, giving rise to Republican allegations of bias in the FBI and the Justice Department and leading Trump to make an extraordinary allegation of treason against Strzok that the agent's lawyer dismissed as beyond reckless. Trump responded to the latest disclosure of texts by tweeting Wednesday that the messages were bombshells, though it wasn't exactly clear what he was referring to. Strzok was removed from Mueller's group last summer after Mueller learned of the texts. Page, who had also been detailed to that team, left that assignment before the messages were discovered. Since then, amid attacks on the Bureau, Director Christopher Wray has defended the FBI as home to tens and thousands of brave men and women. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, meanwhile, has been more muted in his support, saying some criticism may be appropriate and that political bias in either direction must be eliminated. There's no question both Strzok and Page were stridently opposed to Trump's candidacy and the prospect of a Trump administration, using words like idiot, loathsome, menace and disaster to describe him. In one text 4 days before the election, Page told Strzok that the American presidential election, and thus the state of the world, actually hangs in the balance. They frequently texted each other news stories about Russian election meddling, denigrated Trump associate Roger Stone, and, in one profanity-laced message, Strzok cursed out the cheating expletive Russians. But the texts, which encompass a roughly 2-year period beginning around the start of the Clinton email investigation in 2015, cover far more ground than Trump. They underscore how the Clinton inquiry, well before the launch of the investigation into the Trump campaign on Russia, caused anxiety and tension within the FBI and Justice Department as witness interviews, strategic decisions and even public statements were picked apart internally and in the news media in the months preceding the election. Strzok was distressed, for instance, that former President Bill Clinton had an impromptu meeting with Attorney General Loretta Lynch aboard her plane in the investigation's final stages. Lynch subsequently announced that she would accept the FBI's recommendations, setting the stage for Comey's announcement that the FBI would not seek charges. All the airport tarmac articles finally burst out. Took a little bit, not a big deal, just astoundingly bad optic, and doesn't help what the D is trying to do, he texted in an apparent reference to the FBI director. Weeks before that, Strzok confided to Page that Justice Department lawyers were concerned by the late discovery of classified marking notations along some paragraphs in State Department emails. No one noticed, and while minor cuts against, I never send or received anything marked classified, he wrote. Because they're worried. Holy cow, if the FBI missed this, what else was missed? He was also flummoxed earlier in the investigation by what he said was the worst news, that a computer specialist had used wiping software to delete email messages, making it, he said, potentially much harder to recover what they needed. The texts make clear that FBI leadership knew weeks before Comey alerted Congress that a trove of emails relevant to the Clinton investigation had been found on a laptop belonging to former Rep. Anthony Weiner. It remains unclear why the FBI waited a month before revealing the discovery of new emails and before obtaining a warrant to scour them. On September 28, 2016, 1 month before the news became public, Strzok told Page that he had been summoned to the deputy director's office because hundreds of thousands of emails had been turned over by Weiner's attorney to prosecutors as part of a Ting investigation, with a ton of material believed to be from Weiner's wife. This, Strzok wrote, will never end. But for a time, it did seem to have ended. Comey closed out the case July 5, 2016, and 2 days later, faced hours of questioning from a House committee. The two officials watched with admiration, and though Strzok lamented that he was a control freak and that some answers were imprecise, they also texted their gushing praise of his performance, even his joke that he had to use the bathroom for the last half hour. I did get a chuckle out of D's gotta pee Joe, Strzok said. Everyone did, Page replied. That's why he's as good at this as he is. For the web powered by Zergnet, this figure skating move was too provocative for the Olympics. Olympic figure skater handles wardrobe malfunction perfectly. The real reason you don't hear about Leanne Rimes anymore. Snowboarder breaks his neck in terrifying crash at Olympics. Melania Trump's ex-roommate reveals all. Here's who Jackie Kennedy thought had her husband killed.